What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. I am Just Jen. That's me. All right. So I have dove into the Demi Lovato rabbit hole. And a lot of you guys have suggested a song called Dancing with the Devil. Yeah, you're going to hear a lot of my personal struggles in this video. You're going to hear a lot of truths today. If it's your first time here, though, do me a solid favor. Hit that subscribe button if you could. The notification bell's on the right. Make sure you tap the all button. And smash that like button for me. Leave your comments. I love talking to all of you. I love giving my message out as a means of throwing out a message of hope. Knowing that I can do this, so can you. A little bit about me. I struggled with addiction for about, off and on since I was about 16 years old. Hardcore drug addict, heroin since I was 26. And I battled for 8 long years until I finally got sober the 1st of November, 2014. You'll hear more about me. I want to get into this video, though. Yeah, a lot of people, a lot of you guys have actually suggested this, and I have to see it. I have to. Okay, you guys, Demi Lovato, Dancing with the Devil. Never seen it before, have never even heard this song. It's the first time reaction. All right. Okay. So there's a disclaimer on this video, and it says this video contains content depicting addiction, drug use, trauma, and sexual abuse, which may be triggering for some. If you are too triggered by this, it's good to just shut it off. No negative comments are needed. Thank you. Ventilator sounds. I don't need the closed caption.
It's just a little red wine, I'll be fine. Not like I wanna do this every night. I've been good, don't I deserve it? I think I earned it, feels like it's worth it in my mind.
So, all right, you guys, I started off by drinking. 12 years old was my first drink. Well, around 4 years old, actually, I was drinking the suds off of my grandfather's beers. I would pour him some Pabst Blue Ribbon beers and Genesee Light, and I would actually get the foam off of the beer. So at 4 years old, I tasted alcohol for the first time. And 12 years old, my own father bought me Jack Daniels down-home punches. They're little 4-packs of glass bottles, and I threw up everywhere. Then my sister and brother at 12 years old also got me inebriated off those Little King beers. Oh yeah, was throwing up and everything on that one. Yeah, alcohol, I moved on from alcohol after that. I started smoking pot at about 13 years old. So alcoholism is no joke, man. It'll destroy your liver, your life, your family, your jobs, your just overall health. Yeah, I don't advise anybody drink a lot. It's not fun.
Twisted reality, hopeless insanity. I told you I was okay, but I was lying. I was dancing with the devil, out of control. Almost made it to heaven, it was closer than you know. Playing with the enemy, gambling with my soul. It's so hard to say no when you're dancing with the devil.
And boy, is it, my drug progression was like pot, mushrooms, acid, then eventually ecstasy, cocaine. First time I did cocaine was with my biological father. First man to buy me that down-home punch, right? 16 years old doing blow with my dad. Real fun, right? No. 19 years old, which is from 16 to 19, just partying with whatever I can get my hands on. Well, fast forward, and then after, I think my grandmother, I moved to Las Vegas, I came back, had to watched my grandmother go through hospice, and so she was getting morphine, and that's when I started popping the pills that hospice was bringing her. She gave them to me. She was like, I don't want them. I'm like, do you care if I take them? She was like, no, I don't care. So I did. I took those. That was my introduction to opiates. And that's when my kind of life was, yeah, a bunch of methadone and all that. But from 19 to 26, I was just into cocaine. And then I got into meth for a little while. And 26 years old is when I started using heroin. And at first, I just snorted it, right? I was dancing with the devil. Because before that, I could do a bunch of pills for we party for weeks and not go through any withdrawals whatsoever. I didn't do any, and I was fine. But then I started using heroin and snorting it at that, and that's when I experienced withdrawals for the first time. When you start doing that, your brain automatically tells you, hey, listen, you're about to get really dope sick. You better go buy more. And that's the only cure for not being dope sick is to buy more, right? And then eventually that led to the needle. And you know what goes after that? Like they say in the rooms of Alcoholics Anonymous and Narcotics Anonymous is jails, institutions, and death. Well, jail lots of times because I caught a couple possession cases, right? Put on probation, failing drug tests, sitting in county jail. I don't know how many times. Failed rehabs, 31. That's no lie. 31 times. Never once was it successful because it was always court ordered or somebody else wanted me to go. I didn't want to do it. I'll dive into more later on in the video, but I can tell you this much. When she was talking about dancing with the devil and, basically almost dying, I've been there as well. It's 6 times I overdosed. 6. All right, let's continue on.
Superstar Demi Lovato. Demi Lovato this morning we're hearing
Rushed to the hospital after reportedly suffering a heroin overdose.
Surrounded by family and friends.
Damn.
It's just a little white line, I'll be fine. But soon that little white line is a little glass pie. 10 for a remedy, almost got the best of me. I keep praying I don't reach the end of my lifetime. Twisted reality, hopeless insanity. I told you I was okay, but I was lying. I was dancing with the devil, out of control. Almost made it to heaven, it was closer than you know. Lying with the enemy, gambling with my soul.
All right, so what I wanted to stop because I'll play through this whole song. I'm entranced by it because I lived it. I absolutely lived that. A little white line turns into a glass pipe. I seen my drug addiction progress into smoking cocaine after doing cocaine, snorting meth, smoking it. I didn't like to inject cocaine or meth. I have tried it, and it just wasn't for me. I didn't like the way it made me feel, but I seen my drug addiction progress, especially with that little white line or little brown line. It turned into shooting it. And that was probably, I looked at myself and I says, never in a million years did I imagine that I would be shooting up heroin. But I was. And I was doing some crazy stuff for that money. Just I didn't even value myself. I didn't value my body. I just gave it up for money. Strip clubs, sleeping with people for money. It was crazy. It was absolutely insane. And we go through our addiction. I know I did. And I'm going, I'm not hurting anybody, but I'm only hurting myself. That was my biggest lie that I would tell myself, was I'm not hurting anybody. I'm just hurting myself. Well, I had a young child and I was hurting him. I was hurting my parents, my sister, my brother. All of my friends didn't want to talk to me. And you know, I didn't see why at the time. I'm like, well, their loss. No, dummy, it was because you were doing drugs. No one wanted to see me die. And like I said, 6 times. And I don't know if any of you have overdosed, but when I did, there was no bright lights or like angels or my loved ones coming. It was just, when I closed my eyes, it was black and that was it. Luckily, every time I overdosed, I had somebody there with me, or the last time I overdosed, my mother came home to her house. I was at her house. I have lost homes, jobs, friends. A lot of people died that I knew. I lost my self-respect, my dignity, my pride, my freedom. I'll get into that a little bit later too. But like, they were playing that TMZ clip of, oh, Demi Lovato overdoses on heroin. You know, man, don't you think that she would need help instead of like putting her on blast? She's a human being. Yeah, they're human beings.
It's so hard to say no when you're dancing with the devil. Thought I knew my limit, yeah. I thought that I could quit it, yeah. I thought that I could walk away easily, but here I am falling down on my knees, praying for better days to come and wash this pain away. Could you please forgive me? Lord, I'm sorry for dancing with the devil. Yeah, yeah. Dancing with the devil, out of control. Almost made it to heaven. It was closer than you know. Lying with the enemy, gambling with my soul. It's so hard to say no when you're dancing with the devil.
It's got me. Here's what I like right here. If you or someone you know is in need of support, it's okay to ask for help. You have to want that help, though. You cannot look at a drug addict and say, you need to go get help right now, or I'm going to cut myself off from you. Hey, listen, sometimes addicts do need that tough love, but unless that addict or alcoholic wants help, they're not going to get it. It's on their terms. They think they could beat it, like Demi. If you're struggling with an addiction, call 1-800-662-HELP 4357. 1-800-662-4357. If you have experienced sexual assault, call the RAIN Sexual Assault Hotline. 1-800-656-HOPE 4673. 1-800-656-4673. Need someone to talk to? Reach out to your local crisis text line. USA, text HOME to 741-741. UK, text SHOUT to 85258. Canada, text CONNECT to 686-868 or 741-741. Wow, we're going to get into a lot more truths here after this. You might want to stick around. Hello, my name is Jennifer, and I am a recovering heroin addict, Klonopin addict, all-around drug addict. I suffered from sexual abuse when I was a 5-year-old little girl. I was emotionally, physically, sexually, and just every spectrum of abuse by my first son's father. So after he left and I got rid of him, it was 7 years that I endured that. That's when I started getting into heroin real bad. And remember I told you how I lost my freedom in my house and everything else? Yeah. Eventually, I got caught up in a federal sting, which sent 93 people to either jail or prison. 63 of us were charged by the state, and I think 30 people were charged federally and went to federal prison. My drug dealer snitched on me. He said I sold her the drugs. They had a GPS on his car and everything. That was in August it was a drug sweep called Operation Clean Sweep. And it was in August of 2013. Well, I get on probation. I go to treatment. I was in jail for almost 2.5 months, went to treatment for 2 months, got out of treatment, was out maybe a week, seeing a friend at an AA meeting, high. And I wanted to be high. Well, never did I get that fentanyl dope, right? Well, I did this time, and I only did a small amount. I used to do full cc syringes full of heroin. All the way, I would test it to go see if I can go above that 100-unit line. Like, look, I could fit in like 105. You know, it was crazy. It was absolutely insane. So I violate probation by overdosing. Actually, like I told you, I was at my mother's house for the night, and I tell her, hey, listen, I'm with my friend Mikey. You don't have to come home. They were at my stepsister's house. My mom remarried. And she says, okay. And I did a tiny shot. I mean, that big. 20, not even 20 units. And I walked upstairs, and all of a sudden I let the dogs out, and that's all I remember. And then I woke up to paramedics and a IV in my left arm. And they told me you have overdosed, and I hid the drugs quite well. The cops never found it. And I was, in that moment, I knew I was screwed. Being on probation, having one of the strictest judges where I live. In that ambulance, I knew I was going to jail. I didn't know I was going to go to prison for 3 years for drug possession. But 6 days later, I was at IOP. I got myself into intensive outpatient therapy on my own. Well, she had sent the sheriffs for me, 6 of them deep, 6 cars deep. They picked me up on a warrant. And she had signed a warrant. I went to court about a week later. I'm in court, and I says, listen, I'm so sorry. I'm in an intensive outpatient, and I'm in the intensive outpatient program myself. Can you please just give me one more chance? And she says, you're one more chance? You're not dying on my docket. She sent me to prison for 3 years, 36 months on felony for possession of heroin. Yeah. 18 months on each to be ran consecutively. So that means when one of the 18 months is up, you got another one to serve. And then when that one's up, you got another one to serve. I was in prison for 2 years before I got into a treatment program. 2 years. But what I can tell you is this much, is that as of today, I have been sober since November 1st, 2014. I have not touched heroin since, or cocaine, or anything like that. Check this out. I will be coming up on my 7th year of sobriety on the 1st of November of 2021. If I can do it, I was the most low-life no good junkie out there. I looked really bad. I didn't care if I lived or died. In fact, when I did get saved from those overdoses with that Narcan, I was always like, why the hell did I survive? Because you know why? I have a purpose. I have a purpose. I'm now one of the greatest mothers ever to my son, and I have another son as well, and he'll never see me through my addiction. Never. But my parents trust me again. I've gained back so much more that I lost. It's not even funny. You guys, if you're struggling with anything, please reach out for help. It's out there. Believe it or not, there's indigency programs and everything. You guys, I am Just Jen. This is me. That was Demi Lovato dancing with the devil. I can tell you firsthand knowledge, it is not fun dancing with that devil. I am lucky. Demi is lucky because only 3% of heroin addicts ever survive that and stay off successfully. 3%. That means 97% will fail and a lot of them will die. I will never be a statistic. And if you continue to use drugs, you will become a statistic. All right, you guys, take care of yourselves. Take care of one another. Be good. Be good to yourself. And if you need help, please reach out. All right, you guys, take care. See ya.